you're in the business, you say you put up hundreds of thousands of posts, right? Okay, this is the $1 million question. What is the secret formula for having posts work? Like what works and what
Yep.
does not work?
So what's interesting is I've handwritten almost all the captions out of the 110,000 posts we've done. Almost every caption I've written, and the basic things are the human eye, the brain. When we're scrolling through social media and we see something that we like, that gets us the serotonin, we see the visual thing, that photo or video. Let's say Kylie Jenner is holding up glow water last week, right? Visually, you see her holding up glow water. The caption has to be easily readable. If the caption would have said, "I'm Kylie, I love glow water. Thank you and shout out to this photographer, this location, this makeup artist, this hairstylist." The human eye would see too many things and too many tags, and we wouldn't think about glow water and we wouldn't click on it because there's too much action happening. If it says, "I love Ag Glow Water," now us as consumers and followers know what to do, right? She says, "I love Fashion Nova," or "Thank you to Fit Tea," etc. The human eye knows what to do because there's only 3 to 8 words of what to click on. If it starts to be not a sentence, the human eye will skip through it. When you give us too many options, we choose none. And so it's really important when you do shout outs, when you do influencer campaigns, make the caption really easy to read. Ideally, it's like 4 to 15 words. And it's not like a speech. It's not tagging multiple things. There's no extra hashtags. It's just think about what the human eye can see, and think about for yourself when you're scrolling through, what do you want to look at? If you see something with 5 tags in it, you're not going to click any of them because there's too much noise.
So you said how many words at max?
You want 4 to 15. So that way it doesn't go more than 3 sentences on Instagram, for example. You don't want to go more than 3 sentences because then it becomes under the fold. Under the fold means they have to click it to be able to see the rest of the words. You don't want them to have to click it.
How often are you updating, the changes that are happening on social media, right? Because that makes sense. And it sounds like, yeah, we could do that. But then there's the algorithm that catches us and then people don't see what we're posting. How do you combat that?
So the hard part with the algorithm is it changes every day, not every week, not every month. We just don't notice all the little changes that happen as they're testing. And they're testing for different segments, different audiences, different countries, different cities, etc. So there's a lot of changes happening. The main thing to keep in mind is if you want people to see your content is keep your photos and videos for the people that are watching, not for yourself. If you make shareable content, people engage with it, whether you show them something interesting, make them laugh, or teach them something. If you do one of those 3 things, if you teach them something, they will share it. If they share it, Instagram knows, ding, you're doing something good because someone forwarded your post. If they see that people are liking it, ding, they see that people like it. Now they're going to show it to more people. If you made them laugh and they're tagging their friends, ding. See what you have to make people want to engage. And the way you do it is make the content for the people. That part will never change. The algorithm will always reward engagement on the post. And the way to get engagement is to make it for the people watching, not for yourself.
So how do you feel about videos? How long should a video be? Because now every video is a reel, even if it's 4 minutes, it's still a reel.
Yep.
And we know that reels perform better than just regular videos. How long should a video be?
So for the most part, I don't do any videos on over 59 seconds. We live in a very ADD society, and TikTok has made it even faster. Vine first made it really fast at 6 seconds. Instagram was 15 seconds and then finally became 60, and then they made IGTV. But IGTV is the proof that people are not watching long form content on Instagram because IGTV is not here. So people are not going through that platform to watch long form content. They're there for short form content. Same thing with IG stories. You want to keep your clips under 15 clips because if you have 45 clips, we're going to skip all of them because we're not in that time. We're not there in our mindset. When we're looking at IG stories, we want it to be fast. And so when someone's enjoying Instagram, you want to keep those videos to under a minute for the most part, unless you need a deep dive, unless you need to go down the rabbit hole. On YouTube, it's the opposite. Unless you're doing a YouTube short, you want to make 4-minute, 12-minute, 20-minute videos because that's where people are going for long form content. YouTube is like TV to people, so they'll watch long form content. But for the most part, just keep in mind what you would watch. If you're on Instagram, you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, under 60 seconds is what I do for all my videos because I want it, and all my ads. I don't do any ads over 59 seconds. Never. It's never happened and never will. You want people to be able to consume that content in a short form fashion, unless you're on YouTube.
So when you have obviously high profile clients, is there a specific peak time that you ideally that you like to post, and how consistently and how many times or how often do you suggest people post?
Yep.
On a daily basis?
So the main thing to keep in mind is it's kind of like if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around. The main thing to do is post when people are awake. I often see people posting at 3 a.m. and midnight, etc. And then they're on the West Coast, and now it's 3 hours later on the East Coast. If people are awake, they cannot engage with your content, and they are unlikely to see it the next day, because if your post doesn't do well, Instagram or the other platforms are not going to show it to them. And so then it's like a double whammy against you. So the main trick is post when people are awake. Second, when you start to get granular, 8 and 9 in the morning is always going to be the best, because that's when people are first getting up, going to work, first getting to school, or they're at work, and the first thing they do is check their phone. And so a lot of the things I talk about are just real life common sense. The same way you read a caption, the same way human behavior is. If my eye can't see it, or I'm on my way to work, that's the times that I'm looking at content. The next part is at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. is when people are leaving work, leaving school, just getting home. During that time, it can also now breathe. Breathing means the post is getting some engagement, and it can breathe because the platform is showing it to more people. And so if you post at 5 to 6 p.m. and people are starting to trickle home, again, one of the first things they do is they open up their phones to look at social media. So 8 to 9 in the morning when they first get to school or work, 5 to 6 p.m. when they're first leaving, all of my posts for paid posts, I'm requesting an 8 a.m. post or a 9 a.m. post, depending on what city they're in, or a 5 or 6 p.m. post, depending on what city they're in, Monday through Friday. The weekends are much different because there is no driving to work, there is no getting home from school, etc. So the weekends are mostly just posting anytime between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. It could be 11, 1, 3. There's no formula to the weekends, because sometimes there's football games, sometimes there's award shows, sometimes there's them going to a picnic. There's things happening on the weekends. So you're going to have a very different ebb and flow when it comes to the weekends. But Monday through Friday, keep in mind, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. is ideal, and 5 to 6 p.m. is ideal.
Is when you say PM, are you referring to Eastern Standard Time,
So
or
I'm referring to PST. I'm referring to the West Coast time, except if the majority of your followers are in East Coast, then the time is the same for you. If you have a national audience or international audience, then you're going to want to go a bit earlier, keeping in mind the time difference.
so you look geographically where your followers are and base it off of?
Correct. If I have an East Coast, if I have someone from New York or Miami doing a post, I'm having them post usually at 10, 11 a.m. because that's going to be 8 to 9 a.m. out here on the West Coast. I'm not going to have someone on the West Coast. I won't let them post at 10 p.m. because that's 1 in the morning. If you're in Atlanta, New York, Miami, it's so late. They're sleeping. So I'm very strict about that 8 a.m. post, 9 a.m. post, or 5 to 6 p.m. post on the West Coast.
Do you feel that for entrepreneurs, right? How do you feel about people selling from social media pages? Do you think that social media should just be not really for a hard sell, or can you sell from a social media page? How do you feel about that?
You absolutely positively can sell from a social media page. If you believe in something that it helps people either make more money, better credit, get a house, lose weight, improve their marriage, better food, etc., it is rude of you not to sell it. If you think what you sell helps people, it is rude of you not to sell it. And people pay for what they believe in. So if someone buys something from you and you're selling them something at $100, or you give it to them for free, I promise you, without a shadow of a doubt, because I've done this my whole life, if they paid $100, they will take it way more seriously than if you give it to them for free. And a lot of people are taken back by that, because like, oh, if you believe in your product and you're going to help people, just give it away for free. People do not take action when they get something for free. If you throw an event, I'll give you an example. When I throw elevator nights, which is similar to your guys' business conference, my event's free. I have to have 2 to 3 times the amount of people RSVP to show up because of the free ticket. Your guys' event, if they paid $200, $500, $1,000, $2,000, whatever, they're going to show up because they paid $500 to $1,000, right? They're always going to show up. For my event that's free, if I don't get 1,000 people RSVP'd, I'm not going to get 300 to 500 people to show up because it's a free ticket. They don't mind. I'll be late. Who cares? It was free. So when I have my mastermind events, my mastermind event's $100,000. Nobody misses it, right? They'll cancel whatever they have to cancel, fly across the country, the planet to be there because they paid a lot of money to be there. If they don't pay anything for it, they're not going to take it as seriously. So do not be scared to sell on social media. However, keep one thing in mind. Do not sell every day. If you're selling every day, people are going to be blocking you. They don't want to watch it. They don't want to feel sold to every single post. And so the idea is give content, make them laugh, make it interesting, teach them something, etc. Boom, ask for the sale. Make content, make them laugh, make them interesting, make them part of your life, build some emotional attachment, top of mind awareness, boom, go for the sale. If you do that, I promise you, your engagement will go through the roof and they'll help you sell, rather than if you're trying to sell every day, people are going to stop watching.